The perfect family film in every way, Pete Hammond Box Office Magazine. Funny, warm, and wonderful, Pete Hammond Box Office Magazine. Was this the one positive review the movie got and they just decided to put it all over the DVD box? Loosely based on the 2007 children's book of the same name, Mars Needs Moms seems to be one of Disney's biggest flops. Not that the biggest company in the world would ever have one of those, mind you. I think people keeping track of this movie's box office numbers have a political bias and suffer from wrongthink, but that's just me. Produced by film visionary Robert Zemeckis and directed by the great-grandson of Orson Welles, Simon Welles, the movie failed with critics and audiences alike, even putting an abrupt end to a company that really didn't get too far off the ground, Image Movers Digital, which is owned by Robert Zemeckis. They had a promising start with a lot of well-known movies that I still have yet to see because I don't watch a lot of movies, but after this film, they have yet to put out another film since. Hell, not even the star power of Joan Cusack, Dan Fogler, and a replaced Seth Green were enough to save this movie's box office.
Sounding very similar to another failed animated family movie about aliens that was featured on this show, Escape from Planet Earth.
But do you really want to see how bad this movie can get? I don't know why you would, but either way, let's get ready for liftoff. This is Mars Needs Moms. I don't know why we have a DVD copy of this either. So we begin on the red planet that the fascist who currently owns Twitter has his sights on, Mars. A simple rover finding nothing but rocks. That is until we see this movie's idea of Martian life is in the center of the planet. The newborns of Mars are apparently birthed out of the ground, before they're picked up by these nanny bots, as they call them. But the male babies on this planet are so reckless, the Queen of Mars has set her sights on the planet Earth, seeking out various mothers to potentially abduct. This will have to wait as we unfortunately end up in the home of the incredibly unappealing human characters. This is our main character, Milo. He's a hyperactive little male with a male father who's always on business, and the mom has her hands full with this incredibly rude little shit that she calls a son. As he complains about not being able to see a movie, refusing to eat his broccoli and instead feeding it to the family cat, as an animal rights advocate, I'm just gonna say you're gonna burn in hell for that one, kid. But the icing on the cake is when he refuses to go to bed that night. The mother comes in to scold him, and it results in this bit of heartlessness.
My life would be so much better if I didn't have to be a nagging mom.
Yeah, well, my life would be so much better if I didn't have a mom at all.
Well, that was unnecessarily cruel. I mean, even for the standards of a little boy, that was just really needlessly mean-spirited. And he's the main character of the movie, by the way. So I hope you're ready for the next hour and a half, people. I know I'm not.
While this is a common trope in kids' movies that aim to have messages about loving your parents, it really does feel like this kid crossed the line saying that. Even for the sake of having him say something he'd regret, that he needs to learn from. That was really harsh.
Well, Milo feels bad about what he said, as he should, and just as he goes to apologize, he finds his mom is missing, being loaded up onto a Martian rocket. And apparently she's a very heavy sleeper, as she can't tell alien hands are feeling her up there. Milo rushes to try and save her and gets snagged onto the rocket that takes off with them. We'll touch on this a little bit later in the movie, but I guess the point of this film was to show off how impressive the motion capture animation technology was. Maybe it's just me, I'm not much of an animationist myself, but it really kind of isn't. Obviously, a lot of people worked really hard on this movie, and I'm sure they put in a lot of effort, but still, the animation itself just isn't all that impressive, even by 2011 standards. I am aware that Robert Zemeckis was always trying to push the boundaries of motion capture technology with animated movies like The Polar Express and the Christmas Carol movie from 2009, but even still, this movie doesn't look any better than those movies did, and those movies came before this one. And to add to that, as the movie goes on, the plot to the movie feels like it takes a backseat just to show off the impressive computer graphics that the film has. But even then, that's not enough to carry the movie. After a while, it feels less like you're watching a movie and watching the cutscenes from a video game, which I find absolutely disgusting and deplorable. I hate video games, okay? The only people that play video games are sexist man-babies. The ship lands in their space station in the center of the planet. Of course, that Mars rover from the beginning has yet to discover that. And the Queen notices a bright neon spray paint tag, disapproving of the signs of disobedience and stepping out of line. Well, gee, who could have left the tag? Could it possibly be this one Martian whose face we're lingering on? Could she possibly be a main character later in the film? Milo wakes up in confinement until he breaks out quite easily. He gets out and immediately runs before the room goes dark.
Jump down, shoot number 3.
Who's there?
Hey, keep it quiet. And jump down, shoot number 3.
He listens to the voice and heads down the chute, which leads to the planet's garbage dump, where all the male Martians reside. Oh, so in this movie, Mars is a matriarchy, led by women, and all the men are put in the garbage. Well, I just have to say, as a male ally, I really, really approve of this. Yeah, I hate to point out the obvious, Disney, but this is quite similar to another film you did just 2 years prior that also involved a trash planet.
I know karate! Well, at least on the Wii.
Yes, sorry, movie. This crap is not getting a weak eye in game.
My mom, she's the one that feeds me. She washes my clothes. Vacuums the house. You know, she vacuums the house.
So the only way you can describe your mother to this group of aliens that don't speak your language is by saying she's a woman that does chores for you. You little sexist pig! Milo is immediately picked up by this thing and is brought to the voice that was talking to him, which is this guy, Gribble, played by Dan Fogler.
Also known as the poor man's Jack Black. Which is saying something, since I am pretty sure Jack Black is now the poor man's Jack Black.
Part of Ronald Reagan's secret astronaut program. Here to stop the threat of interplanetary communism throughout the galaxy.
Ew. Referencing the 1980s and name-dropping Reagan like that. Ew. Seriously, this movie should have had some kind of warning before that happened. I was not expecting that at all, and I am quite frankly shocked and appalled that they did that. Ugh.
Hope you are ready for more forced 80s pop culture references from this character. It has his whole shtick going forward. And yeah, I get it. He is from the 80s and hasn't seen Earth's culture advance past the 80s, but that does not make it any less annoying.
Gribble is ecstatic at the idea of having a fellow human on Mars with him, as he shows off his living conditions to Milo. All the while, the mother is having God knows whatever happening to her, so can we just please get back to the plot?
Mars needs moms.
They said it, they said the name of the movie. So Gribble explains the situation on the planet to Milo, letting him know that the female leaders of this planet's matriarch would rather have nanny bots raise the children instead of mother them themselves. Oh god, is this going to turn into some tradcon, all women are natural-born mothers right-wing propaganda? Either way, they're taking Earth mothers off their planet so they can take their brains and use them to power their nanny bots. Milo wants to save his mother, so using Gribble's tech, Milo will go up and save his mom while Gribble tells him what to do from the comfort of his goon cave. With Gribble plotting to scare Milo to the point where he won't care about his mother's fate, and he'll just become a complete misanthrope like him. Wow, Gribble! You're a horrible person! Seriously, does this movie have any likable characters I can root for? So far, the only people I'm rooting for is the mother, because I don't want them to take her brain out of her skull, and, well, the Martians, because, well, if you don't support a matriarchy led by women, that just shows that you're a sexist and you don't think women belong in power, so yeah, no offense, but you're also a horrible person too. For the time being, Milo blends into the poor man's Tron Legacy world that the Martians seem to inhabit, and sees one of those damn tags again. But no time for that. Milo gets discovered and then immediately gets chased.
And once again, this feels like a video game level, as he runs through corridors and has to make specific maneuvers to lose the chasing Martian drones. All that's missing is the controls and button combos being listed on the screen.
He manages to give them the slip, and we finally get more on that one Martian girl we saw earlier. Her name is Key, and she is the one who left those spray paint tags. Yeah, what a surprise. And hey, she can speak fluent Earth English. And the reason for that? Because she apparently intercepted Earth transmissions from the 1960s. This will be her whole shtick going forward.
I saw inside her headspace. You said my life would be so much better if I didn't have a mom at all.
What is wrong? She looks after me and she tells me what to do.
Milo jumps down another chute, only to find out that the Martians have taken Gribble to be executed. They found out where he was because Milo's suit has a tracking device planted on it. It's here where Milo finds out about Gribble's backstory. He was originally named George Ribble and lost his mother to the Martians, so he's basically in the same position that Milo's in right now. So, he wants this kid to suffer the same fate as him when he lost his mother when he was his age? Gribble, I understand you're sad about losing your mother, I sympathize, but don't you think that's horrible to want this kid to end up in the same position as you? You incel? Milo notices Gribble being prepped to be shot by a firing squad, but Milo swings in the nick of time and saves him. The leader, who's definitely sporting the "I want to talk to your manager" cut, demands Key kill the humans, but she just can't do it. This gives these two enough time to blast holes in the ground and fall into a lower level. They sneak through a sewer for a bit and end up in this area with space jellyfish. After freeing Gribble from his cups, Milo is able to get more of his backstory out of him in an attempt to get a single emotion from the audience.
Never be able to tell her I loved her.
Key joins them, and while Gribble wants to run away in fear, she makes it clear that she's on their side. So now our three heroes have to run and save Milo's mom. But before they leave the cave, they see a cave painting of a happy Martian family consisting of a mother, father, and child. Oh, okay, I knew it. This movie is TradCon nuclear family values propaganda. I called it!
I don't think the movie was trying to preach that intentionally, but it does feel like that's what they are saying, which does feel incredibly blatant.
They need to get somewhere fast, and after they swing around for a little bit, they manage to break in, knock out some guards, and free all the male Martian prisoners. As all the newborn babies are going to be dropped down the garbage chute, Gribble tells all the adult male Martians to go save them. As Milo manages to get to the surface before his mother's brain can be harvested, the movie decides that it's more important to shove a romance subplot between Gribble and Key. Oh, well, how #stunning and brave of you, Disney, an intergalactic interspecies romance. I gotta say, I've never seen a single movie do that ever before. And no, it's not just because I haven't seen any movies in my life.
I dig it when you change color.
Milo tries to get to the pod where his mom is, only to trip over that rover from the opening of the movie and then fall into a crevice where nobody can reach him. They are really dragging out the climax to this movie as much as possible so the movie reaches that 90-minute mark. Gribble shows up and saves Milo with a jetpack. I'm not questioning it anymore. As the Queen sees them and deploys her girl boss army after them. As unstrapping the mom from the table is going to be a lot trickier than they expected, Gribble gets shocked, and it turns out that Gribble is actually the code word they use to activate their escape rocket back to Earth. All the while, the male Martians and even the babies break into where the supervisor and her army are through the trash chute. Boy, describing this movie makes me feel like I'm on DMT. Well, it took her long enough to finally wake up. I mean, what, is she the solar system's heaviest sleeper if it took her this long to wake up and realize she's on a completely different planet? They make a break for the ship as the supervisor is about to fire her lasers at them. Gribble tackles her before she can shoot, but it still hits Milo in the foot. He goes flying and his helmet shatters on the ground. So his mother gives him her helmet to save his life.
I would say they would not kill the mother off, but this is Disney. Lest we forget Bambi's mom or Simba's dad.
No, she doesn't die. Get a load of this. Gribble remembers where he buried a spare helmet for his mother, which happens to be very close by to where they are when all this is going on, and he gives it to her so that Milo's mom can live. 20 years later, and that helmet is still fully operational?
You will surrender.
We were not meant to being raised by machines. We were meant to being raised by families.
I saved you. Before any of you were even born, I realized we do not have time to raise hatchlings. The males always dancing and playing. That's why we must throw them away. Must be order.
Oh, so that's why she's evil. Because she prioritized having a career instead of raising all the hatchlings of this entire planet, huh? Good God, I knew this movie was TradCon propaganda all along. I mean, what's next, movie? Are you gonna try and be all homophobic and say that it should be one Martian male and one Martian female? While you're at it, why don't you just have Gribble say that the supervisor should be busy making pies instead of leading the planet, huh?
You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife.
So they drop Milo and his mom back onto Earth. Key and Gribble are now an item. We see Milo's dad very briefly, and of course he's a generic white businessman. Typical Disney. Mars becomes a free, peace-loving commune with everyone having fun and dancing, getting rid of their military weapons and technology, and the movie is finally over. So that was Mars Needs Moms. This movie was pretty terrible. I mean, where to even start with this movie? The animation isn't all that impressive, and in some cases it comes off really creepy and uncanny valley, especially when they zoom up on the characters' faces. The story is almost non-existent, as halfway through the movie it just feels like we're watching the cutscenes of a video game, with characters going into certain areas, or going through corridors, or having to be told what direction to go to. Characters are either unlikable, annoying, or both. But most importantly, this movie just goes to show that Disney is all in favor of the TradCon agenda, saying that women should be focusing on raising families instead of getting proper careers. Disney, I love throwing money at you, but this is just one of those occasions where I cannot agree with you. I mean, what's next? Are you gonna tell me that when they were filming Mulan out in China, they actually filmed near death camps and that those aren't just a bunch of rumors spread by people that I disagree with politically or something?
Herm, no, you leftist snowflake. If anything, Disney's part of the woke agenda because they have a bunch of diversity, equity, and inclusion and all of their
great, of course he shows up.
And yet you want to come
Either
in here
way,
and say
my
that they're
final
part of a
verdict, just watch the Jimmy
traditionalist
Neutron movie
conservative
instead.
agenda.
I haven't
That's
even seen
clearly
this
not
movie, but I
true,
guarantee
okay?
you it's still
Nobody
better than
knows
this.
these things much more
Chris,
than I
just
do.
stop.
You have
Stop
no
talking
idea
about
what
how
you're
you like
talking
this
about.
movie, you
And if
filthy
anything,
conservative
if that was
fascist.
what the
We're all gonna be put in a big chamber underground and milked for our semen.
You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife.